Yo, what up? You have caught us eating. Who is us? We are Daytime Talk After Dark. My name is Al Jackson. I'm joined by two of my favorite people in the freaking world. One who's munching down care of Chef Pat. Shout out. Follow Chef Pat. He has been feeding. If we get too big and bust out his clothes, I'm blaming Chef Pat.
It's the holidays, man.
He gave me some rice and pork and beans last week. Me and my girl, it was a lot.
It's a treat.
And it's one of those things where it's like, we're not going to eat all this, and then you're scraping the pan. You're like, oh, all this is inside of me. Anyway, shout out Chef Pat, and shout out Tori Schulman, who is here enjoying the food.
I gotta say, it's an Irish stew we're having tonight. Am I right, Chef Pat? Yep. And I want to let you know, I feel like I'm in a cabin with y'all, and it's at the edge of the world, and the wind is a-roaring over the moors, and there's sheep, and we're like, will he come home, or will he die from the smoke box?
We were wondering if Tori should come today.
Yes,
Now
we
I'm
were.
changing my mind.
I just feel like after that, you and I would just step out of that cabin, and she'll be like, it's -10, and we'll be like, we'll take our chances.
Yeah, right, we'll just leave.
And who is we? My brother from another mother, Mr. Jeff Schroeder. How you feeling, man?
Feel good after that stew. I mean, it's a little snowy here
Yes.
in Denver. A nice stew. I just make some pasta fazool at home in the crock pot, so I'm doubling down on dinner.
What exactly is pasta fazool? Because I've heard that a bunch, and it sounds delicious.
It's so good. So it's my uncle's recipe that my mom gave me, and I just cook it in a crock pot. So you take ground beef, season it up, then you put that in the pot. You take like 28 ounces. I'll give you the recipe. 28 ounces of like canned crushed tomatoes.
The big can.
Yeah, the
I
big
think my
one.
mic's not working. Someone check it.
It's on purpose.
Yes.
Cut up some celery, cut up some carrots, some onions, throw that all in there. I do the slow one for 8 hours.
Yes.
Then after like about the last hour, you throw in the beans. You take a little kidney beans, some cannelli beans, and then throw in some pasta, little dantelli. Is that how you say that? The little tiny one? Little tiny pasta. Put that in there. Let that get up
Soak
the
up,
pasta.
yeah.
Boom.
Oh,
Good
my
to
goodness.
go. Yeah.
All right. I see. You're making me hungry.
It's really good. Yeah. But
as
this is
I'm
great,
eating.
Chef.
Guys, we obviously have a lot to discuss.
And by the way, Erica, I know there are just the three of us. Okay, chill out, whoever wrote that. Not cool. Tori, no mic, whatever. But Erica, it's good. Erica is graduating from Black in Business from Goldman Sachs with honors. And Sam is working and being a mom at the same time and working very, very hard. So I just want to let everyone know why. It's just three.
Yes.
But
yes.
isn't that
We're
something
holding
you
it
say
down.
about Sam all the time? Isn't she always a mom?
No, sometimes she's like super mom, and that's tonight.
Okay. All right. Well, shout out to our girl Erica graduating. We are so proud of you, but not surprised. And Sammy, the busiest, hardest working mom I know. We love you, girl. So let's get to it in their honor. Let's talk about the biggest story, I would say, in the last 6 months. This is huge. The United Health CEO was murdered in I wouldn't say broad daylight, but really
It was daylight.
in public, in daylight.
Oh, yeah.
Early morning, right?
Yes,
Real morning.
murdered, shot by a young man that we did not know whose identity he was for a while. He's since been identified as Luigi Mangione. Mangione. And obviously we can talk, people probably already know the facts, but I think what I was surprised about at first before today's events was just the public fervor because it seemed like he was going to be the next hot felon, Jeff. But since he's been identified, more than anything, it seems like it's 50-50, if not 60-40. More people are like, yeah, I'm not mad that he shot that
My
CEO.
Instagram feed is like 90-10.
Wow.
It's all jokes about how much that guy dying meant because of how much people hate the healthcare system. He's become the target of like what the healthcare system means, this guy. And the memes are, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but they are like on my feed, out of control.
Yeah. So, I mean, right when I heard this, I have to be completely honest. Talking about this man, and I'm sorry for his family and his friends, but talking about this man is kind of like talking about a movie. And the first thing I thought about was John Q. I know I thought about you too, Al. I know.
Talked to Sarah. We were at my table a couple hours ago with my homegirl that's staying with me, my girl Karma Morales, very funny comedian. Follow her. And I mentioned John Q because that's
Did I
exactly
say John Q?
Yeah,
Yes, you
you
did.
did. Okay,
So
sorry.
talk to us about why that movie came to your.
Well, if you
forethought.
don't know, it's Denzel Washington, and he can't afford health care, and his son needs some kind of
brain
surgery,
something,
some
yeah.
kind of surgery, yeah. And he kind of holds up the hospital, and you almost don't blame him because that's what a father would do. You need help, but he can't afford to get help. So that's the gist of the movie.
And
in
don't
a way
forget,
more.
he was insured. That was the big thing with the movie. And they brought him in that big conference room. So you know they're about to hit you with some bullshit, you know, when they bring you in that room. And because he works for a factory, he's the whatever
Right.
insurance they have. And they're like, oh, it doesn't cover that. So let's just keep him comfortable. And he's like, keep him comfortable. He's 9. You
Yeah.
know, so like that's what sparked the outrage. And my favorite line, maybe of all movies, is when he's on that payphone in the hallway in the hospital and his wife goes,
Yeah.
do something. That moment right there is kind of what your whole life is leading to. Like, what are you going to do, bro? And so, Jeff, you take it from there.
Yeah. So again, I apologize to his family and things. Oddly enough, our insurance from Daily Blast Live just ran out November 1st, right? No,
December
December 1st. So I just jumped on some healthcare, and it happened to
me
be
as well.
United Healthcare.
Me too.
Yeah, just for a month.
Me too.
Yeah, so that interim between the new year. So then the next month I'm going to be on something else. But it was quite expensive, more expensive than you would think. And it's just for the month of protection. So the first thing
You
I
just
thought,
can't keep your family inside this month. Just nobody do any
I know
stairs.
people-
I thought about that.
People,
I thought
know
about
our
that.
friends or some of our friends, I'm not going to name names, are raw dogging December.
Yeah, I thought about that too because there's ways
insurance.
you could kind of beat the system back. You could say, "Oh, I didn't pay my bill yet, but I was still insured."
Right.
But then at the end of the month, you could say, if something happens, "Oh, I'm meaning to pay that or not pay it." I paid already.
Right.
That's
I
not
did as
that's
well.
not the question.
I did as
I
well.
paid already. It's done, and we have a new insurance carrier for the new year. That aside, I was like, is this going to start becoming a thing? Because corporations are getting so greedy, right? Like, how much money does Jeff Bezos eat? He worked hard for his money. He invented that. It's a great company. How much money do you need? And I was wondering, is this going to happen more? Is this guy the new vigilante? Is he going to be the next kind of Andrew Cunanan remember the summer of Andrew Cunanan?
Right.
You don't know who Andrew Cunanan is? Who killed Johnny Versace? And he went and killed the guy from Chicago that was a politician. And he went all over the country killing people.
He killed Versace right on the steps of his Miami Beach
That's
mansion.
right. So everyone he kind of had relations with, he went after that summer. I remember that summer of
kinda like
Andrew
Gotham.
Cunanan. So I was kind of thinking in my head, I wonder if this is going to be the new thing, like vigilantes killing like CEOs because they can't afford insurance. And not to add injury to insult, United Health Insurance or United Healthcare Insurance, their insurance rate, usually it's like 16%. You know, like they'll take out, they're 34% that they reject cases. 16% of average cases get rejected. I heard the number 34% they reject cases. So even if you're paying them and doing all these things, even in my own life, my son does something, they're like, well, we don't cover that. Well, what do you mean you don't cover that? It should be all taken care of. I'm paying you monthly. And then they get into these descriptions. Well, what happened here? Did you do this? So in a way, again, I feel bad. This is just my first instinct. I'm kind of just talking out loud. I probably shouldn't be saying that on air, but I'm like, I wonder if this is going to happen more and more. If you're not paying people equal wages, if you're denying only 16% of your claims, and now this company's denying 34% of their claims.
Right.
That's not good for business.
Not at all.
Well, it's good for their business.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very good for their business. And just so you know, Luigi Mangiani was just attended an extradition hearing, and he yelled out, quote, "This just happened." So we just wanted to let you guys know, quote, "It's completely out of touch and an insult to the intelligence of the American people and their lived experience." So I watched this live. He was in handcuffs and they marched him in, and he yelled this out loud. He's a valedictorian at a Baltimore high school, really renowned. He spoke at his high school. He went to an Ivy League school. This guy is a smart man who believes in the idea that the health insurance industry, much like the Unabomber, who he cites as someone that he really respects, is evil and an insult to what he said, intelligence. And a lot of people agree with you and him. And I think that's where a lot of this is coming from. There's a letter that's going viral. I'm just going to read it really quick.
Please.
And it says this. It's from a doctor. It's going super viral. I'm sure you guys have seen it. It says, "Dear butt heads at the insurance company, I can't believe it's come to this. I have to take time away from my patients to inform you that you are idiots. The whole experience makes me want to vomit, but of course I wouldn't dare throw up without the approval of my insurance company." It brings him to the point, apparently you've decided that a child receiving chemotherapy has no reason to be nauseated, and I don't think it was unnecessary writing a prescription for antiemetics. Obviously, you would know better than me and the whole scientific community, go blah, blah, blah. So I'll just tell the kid to stop throwing up. Thank you for that simple solution. You have saved your greedy, blood-sucking corporation shareholders a great deal of money, I'm sure. Of course, that would be the bottom line. Feel free to contact me if you need further information about how much you guys suck. Now, that's going viral because the doctor couldn't even get anti-nausea medicine for this kid with chemo. And it does bring us to a point of what is going to happen to the healthcare community from Trump's point of view, from a lot of point of view of we've reached a breaking point where now people are going to violence. People are saying it was a 3D gun that he had printed. And in order for
It's
this...
called a ghost gun.
A ghost gun.
Yeah.
In order for this
Which
not
is a
to...
whole different conversation.
Right. But
I
in
don't
order
even
for this
understand.
not to continue and be Gotham, where we just go after our corporate headquarters, like I'm thinking of Batman coming
Right,
in.
yeah.
It's sort of like that. What does the new administration, or what do you think, Al, has to be done in order to chill this out? Because now we're at an apex of how ridiculous this for-profit whole system looks. I mean, they don't care that the guy was killed.
Right. I mean, it's, my saying, hip hop explains everything. And most definitely, it's ironic because the song is called Mathematics and he goes through a bunch of statistics, but he basically says numbers are hard and real and they never have feelings. But if you push too hard, even numbers have limits. And we saw that not even in modern times. Go back to Marie Antoinette. Why don't just let them eat cake? Your family's starving. Your son's starved to death. Your wife is starving. And some aristocrat tells you to eat your cake. At what point, Jeff? Do you go get the pitchfork?
Yeah.
And you go get the torch?
Yeah.
Because if you look back through history, that's what it is. It's the serfs, it's the slaves, it's whoever rising up, the proletariat, the working man rising up and doing something about this situation.
How about Syria? Assad was just pulled out from that.
Yeah, I mean,
from a group of people.
And that's a whole.
Yeah, but I
yes.
just mean,
But
yeah.
I see what you're saying. There is, what they did was basically they divided the working class, and there's no, there used to be mechanisms to fight back. There used to be mechanisms within your union to fight back, within your community to fight back, to organize and to protest these things. But you take away people's third space, so there's no place to even organize. Even me and Jeff at a bar over a beer, like, oh, your health
Why am I
insurance
not
is that
there?
because it's a fun bar. And no, Tori,
Why did everybody laugh?
You are a ton
Everybody
of fun.
laughed so quickly.
You're a ton of fun at the bar. I will say that. And
I'm a lot of fun at the bar.
I just said you are. Except at the bar, Tori comes in and checks. Do I seem drunk? Am I not? No, and then she'll have another drink. What about now? Am I drunk?
I'm not
so,
drunk.
but you are fun and
Thank
one
you.
of my favorite people.
Thank you.
Back when I
because
was
it's a
drinking.
fun bar, someone said.
But yeah, there's no way to organize to defend ourselves. And there's no real third lane. Like what happened to places that used to have deals? Like $99 to Vegas, or this hotel is this. There's only like 5 companies. So when they lose your luggage, like Southwest did a couple years ago over holidays, instead of there being ValueJet, Northwest, Alaskan Airlines, U.S. Airways, these
Virgin, remember that?
they were all these airlines where you'd be like, okay, Southwest, well, you'll never see my business. Where are you gonna go?
That's so true.
It's American, United,
You're total-
Southwest, and
Delta.
and
Yeah,
and
you're
then what
so right.
else?
And just going on that, I wasn't even thinking, but remember like back in the day, like, oh man, they're not selling out the plane or selling out the stadium. Let's lower these ticket prices to see how much we could get them for just so we pack it in and we're making them our maximum amount of money. They're making so much money that they won't lower their integrity to that.
Right.
They're like, I'd rather fly an empty plane
Right.
and keep our integrity because we're making so much money. I'd rather have a half-packed stadium than lower my ticket prices and lower the integrity of that.
Right.
You know, nobody does that anymore. They're making so much money that their integrity is up here and they won't lower those prices.
So-
just like if you go to Whole Foods, any shopping mart, there's a certain shelf life for those sandwiches and all that food. And you know what they do with them? They throw them in the trash.
Right.
Instead of like giving it to homeless shelters or feeding the hungry, they just throw it away. And same with merchandise. Say, do you ever see those dumpster divers? They go in there, they rip their bags up and shred them because
cut the
they don't
clothes.
want
So they don't
anyone
want them to
selling them
resell.
at a lower price because it lowers their integrity
Did you watch
of
the
their
Netflix?
merchandise.
The Netflix.
I did,
documentary
and that
By
was in my
Now?
subconscious.
What about
Yeah.
the fast fashion too? How
It's
it's
the
like
same
all
thing.
a huge landfill and stuff. So what? Let me ask you something. I don't want to go politics. I'm sorry, y'all. I know y'all don't want to go there.
I don't know how much politics this is.
Well, let me just say something. We have billionaires now as our presidential administration, the Elon Musks, the Peter Thiels, the Trumps.
Right.
And we have a working class that is feeling it so much that they're applauding someone who got shot in New York in broad daylight. Is there some kind of disconnect between, like, what's going to happen? Like, I don't
There's
know.
a difference. I think everyone's feeling it. And the tension of politics, I think, maybe trickles down.
Yeah.
But I think everyone was just feeling the pressure of the living wage.
Yeah.
I mean, just go back. I said it a couple of times, but go back 100 years and look how much a house costs and how much eggs cost and just everything. Just look at how everything costs, and everything goes up on an incline. You know what doesn't have that steady incline? Is
Wages.
your wages.
Right.
You can't keep up. So people are feeling the pressure, and sadly, again, I feel for this guy's company or for this guy's family, and I know he's a real person, but I'm looking at him like a movie, and like, I think this is going to happen more and more. People are fed up. There is no more corporate pride. Like, hey, come work for our company, even though
GM,
they might
IBM.
not care, but they have company parties. Remember, I went to picnics when I was a kid.
Me
and you
too.
play those
Wow.
silly
The
picnics.
first picnic, I
Yeah,
totally
you
agree.
do those silly my aunt or my grandma worked for Pepsi. I go to her picnic every year. Christmas parties, they're not off the list. Everyone's sexually harassed there. It's like it's
are.
like I know, but it's like everything's off the table. There's no more pride in your company. There's no more anything. Make me that money, get there on time, or you're fired. That's it.
Yeah, and I mean that goes back to what I was talking about, because at those picnics, Jeff, you would see people that work for the company in different areas. You'd see accountants sitting the same with the people that bottled the whatever
In all walks of
product.
life.
Right,
And
cafeteria
yes,
workers.
But if you
mixed-
don't
right.
see them because you work at home, if you don't see them because there is a political divide and we don't talk to those people, the separation, that divide and conquer, is a figure of speech because it's very true. And I don't know what it would take for people to unite. And sadly, it's something like this, something as repugnant as somebody being murdered. But the frustration that people feel, the frustration that this young man felt, apparently his grandparents were denied care. The reason that you're seeing comments like that on your thread and memes is not because people are like, what is this denied care these people are talking about? I've never, it's because so many people have experienced
That's
this
right, that's right.
and have felt this,
That's
but
right.
not acted on it.
Right.
That in a way, they're like, well, I'm glad somebody did
Exactly
something.
right, exactly
And
right.
again, it doesn't make it right, but it's the way that movements have always started. Rosa Parks not getting up from her, like, F this. And you need that. You need a catalyst. And it's
Tip the straw over.
Right. And
Yeah.
yes, I think it's,
Tip
you
the
know,
straw
I think
The
it's
straw
the
on
straw
the
that
camel's
broke.
back.
Yes.
But you need
And
someone
what
to
was with
put
the snapping?
this is because he said something.
He said Rosa Parks and you snapped
I
at it?
thought we were at a deaf poetry slam.
I know.
But that's so smart. You need the shot heard around the world, like the
Way to
American
just
Revolution.
deflect off your
I'm just saying that was well
Whack.
said.
But, I
do you
mean-
want me to like clap?
tip the straw over.
Tip the straw over. I think we have a title.
Sorry,
to this
I was on
episode.
a good rant there.
But no, and usually whether it was the
catalyst,
Rosa
yeah.
Parks situation or the bus boycotts, it's seen as illegal by the government, but the people don't see it like that.
Hashtag civil disobedience.
And that's why another issue that might come to the forefront is, and this is just me talking off the top of my head, there have been discussions about if Trump does get in, him using the military on the people, and when people do get in the streets, as they did for George Floyd, or as they do for whatever social issue has happened throughout our existence, how will that be treated now?
Mm-hmm.
How will that resistance be put down now, as opposed to kind of letting people civilly disobey in a confined space? So
true.
that is something to talk about, and super interesting. Also, super interesting, and we need to get to this. All over my feed today, y'all.
I thought you said feet.
Feed.
We said feed.
I'm going to sit in the dead air.
I love it.
I'm going to let that
I
happen.
didn't want to say anything. I just want to sit there.
All over my feet today. Shout out Wiki Feet. We will take a sponsor. Yeah.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, it sounds like
I
Tori.
have really good feet.
All right, sounds like a job application. It's see you at Nickelodeon.
Hashtag Quentin Tarantino.
And for the record, I've said this to our night owls before. I said it on the show during COVID. I know we're on a weird feet thing now. When I was watching Nickelodeon with my son, who wanted me to watch Sam and Cat, everybody says, everybody loves their kids. You don't really know how much you love your kids until you're watching back-to-back episodes of Sam and Cat and Nickelodeon. And I'm just like, can I not be here? I left
bad?
my body. It's horrible. But
Not worse than just random YouTube videos that my kids watch all day.
God, I don't know how you
That's what
do
they
it.
do?
Oh, it's just one after another, and it's like that same voice. How many pink flowers are in this circle? Like, I'm like, oh my God.
Jeff, that is.
Where's
Ford,
Mario
that is
when you need
Ford,
him?
And it's at least they could be fixated on one thing. It's just like
That was a
what
United,
would
that was a
happen?
United
Attention span.
Healthcare
Yeah.
ill joke.
What would
Yeah, sorry.
happen if the Earth was chocolate milk? And you're like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
And they're making millions of dollars.
you
They're like,
looking
this
at 22
crocodile
million
will
views?
eat it. I'm like, oh my God, what am I
Yes.
doing? Start making dumb videos.
Back to feet.
Yes, back. Let's get back
I'm just
on
saying.
track.
I think we're making one right now.
Those episodes, I would look and somebody was casually looking. I was like, there'd be a shot where both the female leads would have the bottoms of their feet up to the camera,
palms? You mean
wiggling
the
their
soles
toes.
of
Yeah,
their feet?
the soles.
The palms of their feet.
The soles are the palms of the feet.
It's tipping the straw.
And there was a scene where like their feet were in a fish tank, and I like texted you guys. I was like, "What is this freaky stuff?" Anyway,
I don't get it. I don't get that like fetish.
I think it's more pervasive than you. I would say it is the
Something about the
it is
toes,
the it is
I
the
think.
Coca-Cola fetishes. It is everything else is Mountain Dew.
What do you mean?
It's like
It's the number one
because
fetish.
you can have a fetish.
But I don't understand
Like,
it. I don't know. I'm growing up.
They
Some of my
think-
buddies not like, dude, I can't wait to smell her feet.
because they want to
I've
suck
never
on
heard
their
that.
toes. They want to suck. They want to
That's
feel
disgusting.
Of course it is.
If I
but-
met a girl at a bar and she's like, "You want a foot job?" I'd be like, "Are you out of your mind?
It's-
Right,
dude?
but
I'm
you're
gonna
not
jump out the window."
You're
Right.
not at the right bar for that girl. You know what I mean? No
right,
kink
but
shaming.
if she asked you
Yeah,
that
kink shame. That's
no
gross.
kink shame. No
Yeah.
kink shame.
Listen, we're in a different planet. That's disgusting.
can't
If you're
kink
just
shame.
licking feet and getting foot jobs, you got something wrong with you.
What if someone said, "Ew, how gross"? You want a
That's okay.
missionary heteronormative sexual relationship?
That's
How
okay.
gross.
I don't think anybody can have
That's
sex after
fine.
that clinical description of
Yeah,
it.
kink shame. You're a weirdo, dude.
And 1st
I'll
of all,
say it. I don't
kink
care.
shaming is
Oh, let people live. Let people smell each other's feet. What kind of world
Why
are
is
we
it hurting?
in?
How is it hurting you?
I'm not. It's not hurting anyone, but telling
Okay.
people no kink shame. I'll kink whoever I want.
You can't kink. You can't shame whoever you want.
Yes, I can. I could absolutely do whatever I want.
right. Is there
Yeah.
a law against kink shaming?
Is what?
Is there a law against kink shaming?
No, but I think it's general practice nowadays to be like, whatever kinks your boat floats my boat.
That's you can't just make up a phrase and
Yeah.
keep going. Whatever kinks your boat. First of all, that's not a thing. Floats your boat, which is also not a thing. But she just rolled through it like you guys must be dumb if you don't get that. But no one got it because it's not a thing. All right. Well, let's talk about something that is a thing. And
Someone
was al-
says, Marquita says, I used to hang out with a guy who does foot jobs for a living.
it's.
Cool. He just sounds like a weirdo, Marquita.
Okay.
I'll say this. I got to be very vague here.
Oh, God.
I have a friend who all my friends are comedians, and they said that comics do gigs together. One comic was like, "Hey, come hang out in my room. We'll watch whatever." And so they're of the same sex, and they were not. There's nothing romantic, and he found out later that he. Oh, I shouldn't be saying he.
This
He
is
found out
very
later that the other guy he was with, was taking video of his feet and posting it on the internet because there's so many people that are into feet. It's
No, I
huge.
get it. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
It's like some people might like soup. I love soup. Maybe some people don't. I'm not
Some people-
shaming them.
But you just said I can kink shame.
Actually, I am shaming
Right.
them.
You just,
I hate them. I don't like. If you like feet, don't like me.
Oh my
I hate
God.
you.
You escalated
think-
so quickly.
Yeah,
I
because
think-
I'm done with this. Everybody could get along in this soup.
How is it hurting
this
you if
boiled
someone
stew.
wants some
Because
kind of
don't
foot
tell
in
me
their-
who to shame and not to shame. If you like stinky feet, I don't think you're really on the right level
Do you
that
like
I want
Quentin
to talk
Tarantino?
to.
He's obsessed obsessed with feet.
I do love Quentin
Well, he's in
Tarantino.
every movie. His feet.
Okay, so he's going to come over to my house and put his feet on my
No, but
table
do
and
you
make me smell them?
respect him? You shouldn't shame people for that.
No, I could shame whoever I want. I
right.
have no corporate job. I could have a ghost gun if I want one and do whatever I
Jeffrey
want.
Schroeder.
Yeah.
Hush your mouth.
He could.
Don't.
Oh my God.
The more
hush
you
your
push back, the
one.
more I'm going to go over the top.
A goat. Okay.
Uh,
And
And I've thought about the financial implications.
I
of
need more
being
stew.
pimpy. I always said like if you
It's made with the chef's feet.
oh my God, it's not true.
if they were they would sell like hotcakes.
Chef Pat,
Yeah.
you might want to
Why
think
would it
about
just be hot
that.
soup?
Yeah,
Foot
that's
stew.
true. We got to get this soup to sell like cakes. Okay, let's.
All right.
All right.
I'm with Jeff. Someone says, "Well, go shame on your own. Go shame on your own." We're moving on to another topic.
Yeah, we're going to go out to dinner, me and you, and have a nice
I'm Mickey.
smell-free dinner.
Mickey is with you.
Mickey, you're so fine. You blow my mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's never heard that. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Jay-Z.
Jeff's not on a roll. Slow down, Marquita. Okay, go ahead.
Speaking of kind of crazy allegations, I woke up and my timeline today was flooded with Jay-Z accusations with him. Apparently, there's been an alleged
Civil suit.
SA. Oh, you have to say SA for YouTube.
I'm not really
I
down
know,
with
I
that
know, but it's YouTube. The SA. Look that up if you don't know what it means.
It's with a child, a
Or
minor.
you could just say sexual
there's
assault.
a
because
civil.
you can't.
we
Yes,
can't.
you can.
Not on
No, you
YouTube.
can't.
They'll take it
take
down.
You can't because, okay, so if you're in court, you can't say sexual assault?
You can, of course, but on YouTube, it's a private company, and they
Listen,
don't
I'm
want to say
sick
it.
of making up all these words
But do you
and
like this
initials and
podcast?
stuff. I do.
Okay, then don't say it.
Okay, I'll pay you the $4 that we made today.
We're gonna get canceled.
No, you're not getting canceled for saying sexual assault. There's no way.
Well,
There's no way.
let's-
I'd rather sue the government that I can't have free speech than make $4.
You're absolutely welcome to do that.
I'm like, are we making $4?
I don't
But
even
all
know.
these
I'll take the
little
$4.
rules and things of you can't shame SA. Don't say anyone. I'm so tired. I'm so over it. I'm so over it.
It's a lot of people. We'll talk about that after this because
That's a whole different conversation.
I
and
want
I
to talk
wasn't
about
even
that.
hot when I came in. I
know.
was fine.
Good.
I was fine when
It
I
was
came
'cause
in
he
here.
had to-
It's just
you know what it was?
You
You
know
had
what
to
it is?
switch from here to here.
When I'm in my bubble, I could talk freely. And when I'm in front of a camera, everyone's like,
Well,
Pick the wrong profession.
I hope that this is not
because it's ridiculous. It's over the top. That's why we are in the position we are
I
in.
agree.
Because everyone thinking they're higher up, telling people don't talk like that. It's SA now. Listen, I'll say SA if you want us to,
Right.
because I kind of like you guys. But
Yeah.
We got to kind of.
I'll
but
take
anyways,
it.
let's go on Jay-Z. I'm
Yes.
sick of all the correct.
He is a civil suit
the
against-
language when we're speaking English here.
Fair.
Right.
He has a civil suit against him for having relationships with a
Allegedly.
minor, allegedly, with Diddy, and that sets up Al.
Yeah,
so
so
sorry.
24 years ago, I guess he's being accused now of committing an assault against a 13-year-old who's 13 at the time. The lawyer representing the minor, the accuser, is the same lawyer that is representing the Diddy accusers, is the same lawyer that represented the Deshaun Watson accusers, and people are now. I told
He's a
people.
quarterback for the Browns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and he was the one that with the massages.
Oh, okay.
And
was it.
first of all, just really quickly before I get into my questions, what did you think about just when you saw this headline, Tory?
I didn't believe it. And now, okay, I don't know if that's true, but I was like, I know Jay-Z because I read that book. Now you guys are going to make fun of me.
No, go.
But the book that is about the throne. The throne.
Right, Watch the Throne.
Yes. And it was all about the lyrics and the way that Jay-Z was so disciplined from such an early age about like getting to the studio, even when he was in the projects and some guy wasn't there. He was like, yo, I'm going to be big. If you're not with me, then don't come with me. I can't imagine the brain on Jay-Z, the mogul mind thinking this will be okay. Now, am I naive? Maybe. I could be, but I didn't believe it. I still don't believe it.
What about the old adage of believing every victim?
Believe all women.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're breaking your own rules.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I just don't. He asked me my first thought, and I don't think I just was like I would be. I guess what I'll say is this: I don't disbelieve, but I would be shocked. I would be shocked.
What?
Jeff, what
I would
I'm
be
kind
shocked.
I'm actually kind of on the same page.
Okay.
There's just so many things coming out because of Diddy,
Yeah.
that everyone's like Jay-Z's next. And I don't know what to believe anymore. We talked about this. I don't know what's going on. We're going to get to Jamie Foxx in a little bit, and I'll back that up because I can't wait to talk about that. But he is like, they cloned me on the internet. He's like, do you think Diddy poisoned me? And he like puts all that to bed. You know what I mean?
Right.
And but that was going around like it was truth, like it was gospel. And now all these accusations, I get it with Diddy. I don't even know how many of those are true. I know a lot of them are, but now Jay-Z is mixed up in all this. I don't know how much of that is true because the internet puts out so much false information, and that's where people get their information from now, right? And they're like, oh yeah, Jay-Z's with the 13-year-old. That's just the fact.
But it is interesting that he.
But I don't know enough about it to really comment whether it's true or not.
Well, it's interesting. The civil suit was brought by that attorney, which brings some credibility. They're saying he was approached by Combs during a party. Jay-Z had a, quote, crazed look in his eye. You're ready to party. They threw her towards a wall. She got up and stumbled, at which point Combs grabbed her again, threw her on the bed, and then a female celebrity watched as Sean Combs and Jay-Z allegedly raped this female.
So if that female celebrity came out and said, I was there, I witnessed, of course you take that as true.
Correct.
I'm not saying I don't believe all women that didn't happen to that 13-year-old. That's a
lot to make up.
Disgusting, you know what I mean? If that did happen.
Right.
But it's it's prime time if you wanted to commit a false crime. I'm not saying that's what happened here, but it's prime time to say, hey, I'm jumping on that Diddy wagon. I'm jumping on that Jay-Z wagon. Again, not saying it's not true. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I think you speak for a lot of us. And Erica said something, she said it a few times, and I've really thought about it. And she said it in regards to Kobe Bryant. And where there's smoke, there's fire. If you think about the R. Kelly situation, there have been rumors for years. There was a videotape with Bill Cosby, rumors for years.
You're saying here, though, Al, Marcianne says there have been rumors about Jay-Z for years, just like Diddy.
I have not heard those. Okay. I'm not saying that I just haven't heard those, but I will give a take that I think that maybe only somebody that's been following Jay-Z's career since 1994 would have. And if you go back 24 years, because we're looking at things through a very 2024 lens. A lot of people probably don't even know that Jay-Z rapped, really, because it's almost like Ice-T or like my girl's mom didn't know that LL Cool J was a rapper because he's been on NCIS. They don't know that they had these careers before their career. They know them as. There was something in New York where it was called being the king of New York, the biggest rapper. And the biggest rapper would perform at a summer festival that was in New York called Summer Jam. That was the big thing. That was basically the people's champ title of like you're the dopest rapper. In the early 2000s, especially, Rockefeller was on the way up.
That's Jay-Z's company?
Yes, that was Jay-Z's company. Bad Boy was a rival big-time record label. I thought in this is a very deep dive, but Jay-Z has a song called "Imaginary Players," and basically it's a diss track to Mace, who was on Bad Boy,
which is Diddy's.
Yes, that's underneath Diddy.
I'm just trying to make sure.
So basically, he's saying you're trying to be me, but you don't really have any money. That's what the song is about, and it would be strange to me that a person that has a rivalry with another very prominent New York record label, would you then commit a crime
with him
to then let them have that leverage over you? Does that make sense? Does that dog hunt? That dog don't hunt. If there was a rival studio to Dude IDK and they were going back and forth for the biggest studio in Denver, would it make sense for our boy Nick to then do an internet scam with the leader of that studio? So that studio can then go, if he's going on the way down, you can call Nick and be like, hey, do you want to see footage of you committing a crime?
What you're
Would
saying
that make sense?
No, you're making such a great point. But there are photographs that I watched because I was interested of him at the white party. Famously, Diddy always held this white party where like people went you wore all white, and people were like, there was some crazy.
I think people could put two and two together.
Yeah.
We were at a sandwich party. Guess what they served?
Yeah. All of our night owls are like, wait, hold on, back up, white party? Yeah.
You're right, but I just wanted people to know.
Who's watching? A 4-year-old?
Yeah, I think
So Diddy's with Mace, right? Let's break this down.
But I do think it's important to say that, like, Jay-Z was in a lot of those photographs with champagne being poured on a lot of women that I saw over the weekend.
But-
so, like, would he party with that person, you're saying?
But that was the thing, like to pop bottles and dump that.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying
You're
to
right.
defend Jay-Z here. I'm just taking the other side. It's like there was a lot of people that took pictures with Epstein. It doesn't
Yeah,
mean
yeah,
they were
yeah.
actually on that
Weinstein.
island,
And
right?
Weinstein.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right.
You know,
You're
so it's
absolutely
like, it doesn't mean you're down with their cause just because you're in a picture. You guys are the rap icons of the whole world.
Yeah.
Maybe you and a handful of other people.
Yeah.
So you're going to be in some
In
photos
New
together.
York.
And popping bottles on stage and dumping them on whoever. You're not taking IDs of how old those. I'm just taking the
No,
other
it-
side
it's a
here.
thing, and that's
the
the way
internet
this-
just goes crazy on these kind of like, I love a good conspiracy story,
Right.
but there is no smoking gun per se.
No, and he
right?
said, Jay-Z responded, which people wrote in, I would respond like Jay. Damiana says, if I'm accused, I'm responding like Jay. Show yourself. That is a strong response. Like, who are you?
Where
But
is-
you think this is different, our philosophy, than we were just a couple of years ago? Would believe all you think Jay-Z would have survived this 3 or 4 years ago?
No, but the same. It's
No,
well, I would-
Jay-Z is sort
I-
of beloved by a lot of people. To think that he would step out like this is like, I think he's
But
such a
it's-
public figure in that way that it'd be very odd.
I would argue, Tori,
Maybe I'm
that
wrong.
he has a track record. You can be beloved, but if you're a track record as a bad boy, no pun intended with Puff, but if you're just like a Jesse James kind of guy, with like a bad boy and people like that, he's got tats, he kind of cheats a little bit, whatever. That's something that somebody could be very attracted to, very drawn to that type of celebrity. But if they are accused of a DUI or something, you'd be like, well, all right, mate, probably. Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
But like, yeah.
But if it was another celebrity like somebody who's wholesome. If this
Michael
was
Cera.
Michael Cera, I was thinking Michael B. Jordan, who has had no smudges on his record, and then all of a sudden, if you saw a headline that said somebody the equivalent of Michael B. Jordan beat up 7 women in a club, you'd be like, what?
Right.
And there's nothing before that, then this huge thing, and then nothing after it. That doesn't make sense. And I'm not saying that things don't happen, but I'm saying that the way that internet conspiracies will always be able to keep going, because remember, like any website, their job is to keep you on that page
But it's not
looking.
conspiracy. It's a civil suit. Like, we got to be clear on that. There's a suit brought with a lawyer that has mens reis of enough of a suit to say something's here.
But there's always those kinds of suits, and it's a civil suit because what they're trying to do,
Yeah.
if this is my opinion,
Get money.
is to get you to tell your lawyer, hey, Jeff, this accuser next to me, I don't know, she probably would fall apart on the stand, probably wouldn't look great, but I can extend this 2 years. Do you want 2 years of headlines about your client doing this or that, or do you just want to settle for $17 million? And you take it back, and that's why celebrities always end up looking bad, because you can't say anything. Your lawyer tells you to shut up, and meanwhile, this unknown person it could be Teddy Ruxpin doll, for all we know.
It's not
is-
a Teddy
is
Ruxpin
saying,
doll.
How do we know?
Because you can't bring a civil suit as a Teddy Ruxpin
But
doll.
we don't know who this person is. That's a lot of leverage to have in a situation.
Right.
You can fire off, in my opinion, the worst accusation, worse than murder, is assault, and you don't have to show yourself. This person is an adult now, and if you're going to eat, there's 2 things that can happen. 1, you show yourself because Jay-Z is forced to show himself, or 2, this does not hit the public until a judge has said that this is a credible accusation.
Right, yeah.
Because does that mean, okay, can I just say that Samuel Jackson stole my bike 24 years ago? Prove he didn't.
That'd be awesome.
It would be. It'd be the
Do
best
you mean
story I
Samuel
have.
L. Jackson?
Yes.
Okay, so you just said
That's
Sam
Jackson on Jackson Crime.
I didn't know what you meant.
The president? Tori was thinking the president.
Was there
Andrew Jackson.
Was
not
there a Sam Jackson
No, there was an
president?
Andrew Jackson, not a Samuel
There's Sam
Jackson.
Jackson beer.
Okay.
No, Samuel
Sam-
Adams. It's no Sam Jackson.
It's good, but
I was like, but should there be? That was my-
remember Chappelle did Samuel L. Jackson in his thing?
Yes, dude.
And he goes, I can't scream it out.
Jeff, let's get to some good news, because we've bummed everybody out with murder and essay for the first 38
Yeah,
minutes.
and listen, if this accusation turns out to be true, I'll be the first to apologize.
course.
It just, to me, it doesn't make sense, but human beings can always sadly surprise you. It's very interesting that this is getting the play that it did. And like, if you think about Vince McMahon, he was accused of doing something. Do you know about the Vince McMahon accusation?
Oh, I saw the whole.
Yes.
So did his wife.
Yes.
Who, by the way, is going
ru-
up for Department of Education, I believe.
Yes.
And she is now, the judge has halted the trial today.
Right.
Which is great.
And so, like, but I mean, those accusations, which were so vile, we couldn't even say them on DBL. Those didn't hit the airwaves like that. Like, we didn't see 300 articles like this. It just.
I think we're just coming out. I think the internet's crazy with P. Diddy conspiracies, and then this is just another arm of that. You
Right.
know, whether
You
it's
said
true or
arm?
not. Arm?
You said
I will say this, and
Definitely said
this is the last I'll say on it, but it's
Sorry.
kind of
I'm sorry. The straw is tilting in Jay-Z's favor.
It's the thing that kicked the straw over Jeff. I'll just say this: I have the most credible source that probably we could ever hope to have, and I've asked this source. I promise I'll never name them about Tony Busby and about this situation. And
I don't know who that is.
Me neither.
I can't even get into it, but this person.
What are you talking about?
No. This person is a
Are we still on Jay-Z?
Yes,
I don't know who
I'm
Tony Busby is.
He's the lawyer for all of the
Sounds
accused.
made up.
It does.
No.
Like Bigsby's Follies.
It's Tony
real.
Busby, and I asked them because they were like, ask me about any case that you have a question about. This person is front row center. They interview these people for one of the most credible outlets. That's as far as I can go. But I can ask them about anything. They just said, don't use my name. And I asked them about Tony Busby, and they were like, there's nothing there.
Who's Tony Busby?
He's the lawyer
Oh,
for
okay.
the accusers for Deshaun Watson. The same lawyer for the Diddy accusers. He also has a
Gotcha,
1-800 number for accusers to call, and that's a pretty wide net they're casting. The same, but it seems like there's a target type of person that this lawyer goes after. Yeah. And it just seems very flimsy. The Deshaun Watson, what is he really accused of?
I don't know anything about this guy.
Right.
He's got like 30 cases
Is he
against
still
him.
playing? Let me guess. He's
what,
still playing,
though?
isn't he?
No, he's not.
Okay, good.
But not because he can't. He got hurt, right?
He got hurt.
Yeah.
But Jeff, what is he accused of?
I don't know.
That's hold on one second. That's the response that I'm talking about. The fact that you know the name, you know Deshaun Watson, but no one really knows what they're accused of.
Well,
And
sexual assault.
Right, but that's not what he's accused
I'm
of.
sorry, S.A.
Yeah, but he's not accused of that. He's accused of like attempting to kiss somebody, and he's attempted I guess rubbing his genitalia against somebody. But the fact
It's
is,
called G.
It ruined his career, and that's why people do these things. It
Don't be
ruined his career.
disrespectful.
Essay with GA.
Yeah.
He slapped his G on it.
All right.
Let's be respectful, Al.
So he slapped, but like all these things.
Do you need to say slapped?
That's the proper term.
Okay.
Get with the times
All right.
or beat
Someone
it.
said, trying to keep up with how many digs Jeff and Tori give each other.
Will somebody start to keep a meter?
Yeah, get your.
Keep a tally.
It's like when the Griswolds plug in the electricity.
Oh
it's like,
yeah. Yeah. Do you know? First of all, I've already watched National Lampoon's Christmas. And
Me too, it's
Jeff,
the best.
before we get to Jamie Foxx's "We Need Some Levity,"
Yes.
right now, I just want to say my favorite line has changed from that movie, and it's really weird because now my favorite line from that movie isn't a funny line, and it's the only like real like low key heartwarming line. But when he goes to light the house and it doesn't light, and everybody's like, "Oh, Clark, you suck," blah blah blah, and his daughter goes, he worked really hard on that.
Yeah.
And I really like that his daughter got his back right there. It's like
Yeah.
really low key beautiful.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like there was nothing else made of it. The rest of the movie was a comedy, but I just
Yeah.
thought
Wasn't
like
she famous?
I like
in it?
Juliette
Juliette
Lewis.
Lewis. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
wasn't
he
she
worked really
famous?
hard on
Oh,
that,
that's
Grandma.
really
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah. I so
He
shout
worked
out.
really hard on that. And I love. How about that? How about this? Why is the carpet wet?
Carpet.
Why is the, shut up. Why is the carpet wet, Todd? I don't know. Margot.
Yeah. That's a young
That's me.
Julie
Louis-Dreyfus. Wow.
Julianne.
No, you screwed it up
You
and
said-
you looked at me like it was me. Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, you totally screwed it up.
I hope you didn't get your
It's like
erm
when
on that one.
Like
I
when I
remember my
said
first
everybody
beer.
loves Ray. I've been gone my whole life thinking that was the name of the show. My whole life.
Dude,
So
Al,
cute, Al.
you just brought me. I want to text you like all the time and I don't because you think I'm a
about
psycho.
me?
I never think about
Jeff,
you.
I'm doing nothing all day. Look, I'm
No,
dressed.
I was watching Uncle Buck the other day.
Yeah.
Why did
And-
you text me?
Because me and Al always talk about it.
Oh.
Because I'm going to text you something. You're going to be like, it's SA during a text. And I'm going to be like, block. Get real. I can't stand the corrections anymore. But I forgot the line now. I almost texted to you.
I can't
He
stand
said something like
you.
totally old school when they were fighting by the fire and he was leaving. He's like, you could, and he said, I was like a dirty word. He's like, you could stick it in your sock.
Good
He
one.
said something so dumb.
Yeah.
I got to get the line. I'm like, oh my God, that's totally an L line. I'm
Wow,
gonna get
great
it.
story. You
I-
don't know the
That
line.
story did stink. I'll
That
tell you that.
sucked.
That story
That
did
was
stink. But
terrible.
the point was I was thinking of Al. I
Okay. Yes.
apologize.
Let's talk about Jamie Foxx, and also I want to hear about Jamie Foxx, and also Christmas gifts if we get to it.
Great intro.
Okay, yeah. Well, the good way to intro a segment is to yell it while doing your hair.
Jamie Foxx.
Okay, so Jeff, this is your story. So talk to us about Jamie Foxx. Apparently, you just had a Netflix special drop.
Yes. You guys haven't seen it?
I
I've not
saw
seen
the
it.
big news, and I saw him crying about it.
Okay,
where
so
he talks about the brain bleed.
Going
I
back,
saw
what's
that.
it called? It's like a teaser, and we talked about it. You think he's going to drop some P. Diddy stuff?
Yeah, because there was rumors that Diddy had actually poisoned and drugged Jamie Foxx, and that's why he went into the hospital.
And he totally
God.
squashes that. And then there was a thing that he was a clone. Totally squashes that. That's what I meant to connect the dots with the internet. You don't know what's true or what's not true, and he puts it all together. First of all, top 10 most talented people in Hollywood ever.
Oh, without it, that's not
Without
even
a
a stretch.
doubt. I know. Because he's so talented. But this special will take you on a ride. You will cry. You will laugh. You will be proud. You will be inspired. I just watched it before I came here. I was doing some work on the internet and on the computer thing.
Yes, on your brother,
porn?
on your brother word processor.
I was Googling
I was
smelly
working on the
feet in my
internet.
office. No, I was doing something, and my wife started watching it. I'm like, and I got in there, and he was telling the story of what happened because he never really told it.
Right.
And he tells such a beautiful story with passion, and it's coming from his heart, and the thanks he has for being alive. And that's just the first part. Like, I don't want to ruin everything, but it's like he made me cry like 3 times. So then I'm like, oh my God, I got to watch this. Then he starts talking about how thankful he was. And like, if, I'm into God, he's very much into God now. And who in his life were inspirations to him. Remember he brought his sister
Yes.
here and we interviewed her here in Denver?
Yes.
She's the one who drove him to the hospital.
Really?
And I don't want to ruin the whole thing.
And the doctors told
and the
her-
daughter, there's so many beautiful moments, dude. Like with his daughter, and then he brings his daughter out on stage.
Really?
I don't want to ruin it. I'm telling you, if you want to if you like Jamie Foxx at all, he goes through all of his movies. He does impersonations. It's broken up. Just everything you want. And then when he's going over his movies and talking about, I'm this guy. And then like Ray Charles comes on and he turns around with his glasses and he does Ray Charles. He's just the best, dude.
He's
he takes you on a
freakishly
ride.
talented.
And oh my God. And we almost lost him. And we were that close. And he tells the whole story, the journey, the people that helped him, the nurses in the hospital, how he got straight, his family that straightened him out, how he talked to God. It was a beautiful, I could talk all day about it, but I'm leaving out pieces because it just came out and I don't want to ruin it. Al, text me when you're done and tell me how many times you cried and how inspired you were and how much is Jamie Foxx your number one guy now.
Why can't I be part of that?
Oh yeah, I guess you can.
Well, Tori, this is why.
You're right.
I was right
should
here.
have included you.
My mom had a 7
I'm sorry.
strokes
I know
when
Al's
she died.
well, me and Al have very similar preferences.
I know, but I understand.
You're like, did
medi-
you see George Jefferson's?
It's
or
Thomas Jefferson.
See, me and Al would talk about George Jefferson. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying I would understand the
No,
medical
I'm telling you, you would love it too.
aspect. Yes.
Because he talks about the whole hospital visit and how great the nurses
Thank
are. And the
you.
psychologist. He had to
That's
see a
right.
psychologist and
Wow.
how he was saying, I'm Jamie Foxx. I don't need a psychologist. I'm Jamie Foxx. I'm getting out of this. And he was in his own head about how great he was. And then the nurse is like, dude,
Yeah.
it's just great.
Nurses are
and
angels
Tori,
on
so
earth.
great.
But what Jeff is saying is what I'm about to throw at you. Jeff, I'm glad you said that. One of my favorite stand-ups that I've ever seen, he's since passed away, but Robert Schimmel, famous comic from the early 90s, really the comic that I first saw my parents watching on like one of those old like HBO half hours in like the early 90s where I was like, I didn't know what he was saying because there's a lot of sexual innuendo, but I was like, how does this bald Jewish white guy have my black aunt and mother laughing? And I was very curious about language and how it's used. And so I ended up having lunch with him years later and opened him for him a couple times. But one of the times that I opened for him, he had a slideshow and it was about his journey with cancer and how he was in the hospital, and it was just screenshots of these photos that people in the audience would burst into tears because it would be him looking gaunt with like some feed in him. And he was saying the funniest things. It was like one where he like literally looked dead, and he was like, "This is me when I found out Dat Fan won Last Comic Standing." And it was just such a funny thing to say at the worst, literally a picture of the worst moment of your life. And it reinforces what I've always said, is that in order for comedy to happen, you need trauma. Art comes from trauma. You look at the most trauma. Hip hop came from the inner cities in the 80s with Reaganomics. You need trauma. There's a reason that great poets don't come from San Diego. It's because it's too nice there. There's too many good fish tacos. Eminem had to be from Detroit, and people don't ever want to think about that. They always want everything to be good and wholesome and sweet. But I'm sure,
dude,
it took Jamie's life to hit that mountain for him to wake up, see all the beautiful things he has, and reevaluate everything. And Tori, that's where I'm getting to you. I think you should get back on stage.
But before you go, I just want to. He has a occurring theme after every set because he makes a joke, right? He's telling a serious story, but he makes a joke, and he goes, "If I can't laugh, I can't be alive." And he says it 100 times during. So every single tagline was, "If I can't laugh, I can't be alive." I don't know if that's exactly it. I just watched it, but he would tell a story, but then tell a joke, right?
Right.
And then everyone would laugh, but to settle them down and be like, "If I can't laugh, I can't be alive." He'd make fun of Al, I'm telling you exactly what you're speaking to is what it is. And you would love it too, Tori, because I think we all do here. We use comedy as like a defense mechanism, even when times are tough. Right?
Yes.
It's just kind of what we do as a group. And I'm comedians, you guys know more than me.
Comedians,
but it's
cops, paramedics.
Yeah.
These are people that have to do
Just
the
please
worst
watch. I can't wait till
things.
you guys
Soldiers.
Right. And yes, I remember when I was in Okinawa and they let me go to the gun range and like shoot like crazy stuff. And I was like, "Oh, for the show tonight, do you care about language?" And they were like, "People shoot at us. We don't care what you say." There's a point when you have certain jobs, it's a pleasure to sit home and on your nice, you work from home situation and comment on what people should and shouldn't say. When you have to go and clean up some tragedies 6 times a day, the way that you maintain your sanity is to have gallows humor, to have a little bit of dark humor, because that's the only way that human beings can get through. So
I completely agree.
Hence, why do we have so many Jewish comedians?
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. We've been through a lot of trauma.
Black comedians. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
So, Tori, that's what I'm saying. You should take all this angst and pain and anger
And go on stage.
and go on
It's so
stage
smart,
and
y'all.
see what comes out, because you have the one outlet to just go up there and just talk about stuff. Do you think nobody can relate to this?
No, first of all, I think it's so important that, was it billed as a comedy special?
I don't even know. It's just kind of like a one-man show.
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
he sings,
Right.
he,
Oh, he
does
does?
performances, he tells serious stories where there is no joke, but then he'll end like with a pun. But the beginning, right off the top, he's having trouble working through it.
Of course, I see him crying. I saw him
He's having
when he
trouble
talks
working through
about
it.
yeah.
I don't. Right now, I look at that man and I'm like, dude, that guy is like an inspiration to me right now because he talks to God. He has no fear of expressing his feelings towards that. His anecdotes about God and why it was him. Again, I don't want to ruin the whole
Well,
thing.
when you
Just
get
I'm telling you, watch
I
it, Tori,
will.
and you'll
I
be
will.
inspired
I will.
to do what Al is talking
Okay.
about.
Because I know when my mom would get really, really sick, she once told me that when the hospital, when you had a stroke or a brain bleed or whatever, I don't know what specifically, but it's something with the brain. She told me that the hospital, she thought she was the captain of the Starship Enterprise, and the whole hospital was her ship. Because you become psychotic, like in the hospital, and the nurses were like, "You're not on the captain ship." Like nurses will save your ass, is what I'm saying. So, I will look forward to watching that.
I just,
What just happened, though?
My mom's necklace fell off.
What, you could have just said your necklace fell off.
It's my mom's.
I know, but you always have to bring that in.
because I
and
was
then-
speaking about my mom.
All right.
I could watch
Tori
you
brings
guys.
it to the level. I'm like, I'm sorry, I cracked that joke earlier about you. She has to bring in
Are you
something like.
kidding me? I'm kidding. This is.
I know you're kidding, Tori, but I'm not when I say
know,
I
I
think
should
you
do
should
it.
get on stage because
Well, I'm telling you,
it's-
when you watch that, you will be inspired. I promise you.
I used to
I'm
do
even
stand-up
letting you
all
know
the
you
time.
can text me if you want.
Oh
Right.
God.
yeah. So you can always get back on that stage.
Thank you, Al.
Yes, I mean,
And then I have one last question for you guys all.
please.
What are you guys getting for Christmas for people?
I have some thoughts about Christmas I would like to throw at you guys.
Please.
Because I'm a little bit like, I saw something. Are you ready? $44 for whiskey flavored toothpicks. Like, are we there?
Was that on Goop?
It was on something, but I'm like, are we there? Like, I have nothing to give my father but like whiskey golf or like axe throwing.
Well, I think that's part of why I think the way we view Christmas is going to change. And I spoke about this on a podcast that's not yet out yet, but I have some thoughts about Christmas changing because I think about my kids. When Christmas was coming for me and my sister, it would be a full-on anxiety. I could not sleep. I couldn't wait to see what I got. You're hoping your parents, Santa came through for you. And now my kids, because of Amazon and you can just kind of get what you want, they have everything. So I always say my kids show up Christmas morning like two hungover dads. Just like, you know, when dad just sits on the couch and he's like, got coffee, like, yeah, your mom and I mean Santa. You know, like, my kids don't care about Christmas. They don't care about Halloween, really. Halloween is more for adults. Christmas is really more for adults. And so, like, I don't know what my kids want because they've never mentioned it. Whereas you and I, or the three of us, would have dropped hints all year. Man, I really want that new bike. Oh, if Santa comes through with that green Huffy, that would mean everything.
What's that thing that kid wants? The red
Rider BB gun?
That's it.
No, what were you going to say? You should have let her have it,
I know.
Jeff.
I wanted to get it right.
The red shredder arrow.
The red.
That's what I thought it was called.
Did you really?
Yeah. I thought it was a gun. Is it a gun?
Yeah,
it's a BB gun.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
BB gun.
Yes.
You'll shoot your eye out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Christmas Story, Cleveland,
Yeah.
Ohio. Shout out. So, Jeff, how do you? I have a theory that, and this is my theory. We have a couple minutes. I think Kwanzaa is on the come up.
Tell me what. Give me some Kwanzaa hot tips.
Kwanzaa.
Okay. Without.
There you go with the correcting again. Me and Al like to say Kwanzaa.
Oh my God, it's not Kwanzaa.
I
It's
said Kwanzaa.
Yeah, he said it wrong. and
He
he's-
can, but
Are
you know
just
what he's
there
talking
listening
about.
to me screw up?
No, you're in my ear like an annoying mosquito I can't kill.
Okay. Here's my reasoning.
Yes,
okay.
please throw me some top 5 reasons why I like Kwanzaa.
Okay, I don't know if they're 5, but
Give me
okay.
the top
I can give
3
you
reasons.
7.
Top 3 reasons. Number 1.
Hit it.
This is gonna go viral.
This is huge. Kwanzaa falls the day after Christmas and goes before New Year's.
Could I jump
during
ahead?
that
Hot
crappy
deals?
What's that?
Hot deals? Are you saying hot deals?
I'm gonna get to that in a second. Okay. So there's the dead week between New Year's and December 26th. Nothing's really happening. It's just cold. It just sucks.
26th of the first.
The 26th of the first.
That's Kwanzaa.
And so that's where it falls. So there's an empty space there for it to go. Number 2, if you think about
Hanukkah is also part of that.
yes, number 2. This generation of kids, I look at my daughter, she doesn't want for anything. She'd be like, I have some money for clothes, but she doesn't really want for anything. Her generation, because Kwanzaa every day is like, one day is like unity, community, and it's like going out and doing something for your community, stuff you really like, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if a couple big TikTokers were like, here's 5 things to do on Unity Day. 1, I went to the clothing donation. If that picked up
Are you
steam.
trying to influence Kwanzaa?
No, I'm just saying,
I like
you did
that.
that every day. Most people aren't working, so that's number 2, and I don't have a number 3. So, Jeff,
So top 2.
Yes.
Tori, what are the top 2 reasons people should celebrate
Hanukkah?
Hanukkah?
Because you have 8 straight days of gifts, which is beautiful.
well, it's gift singular.
Gifts.
You get 1 gift.
No, you get 8 gifts.
I know, but 1 a day.
Okay.
8 gifts.
You get to light the candles, which is beautiful because you have beautiful. It's called the
Can't you do
Festival
that
of
every day?
Lights. Festival of
You
Lights.
can't describe everything as beautiful.
Okay, and the idea is the idea is you gather around because this little bit of oil lasted 8 beautiful days. Now I will say this: Hanukkah is a minor holiday in the Jewish tradition.
Which I was surprised when you told me.
Very
that.
minor.
Really?
Yes, it's
But
not.
It's
because
not
it-
the top of the
No,
mountain.
Very small.
Passover is way bigger.
Huge, but because of your Christmas.
Oh, you tried to chest up with us?
I'm just saying we are doing our best. As Jon Stewart said when my kids found out about Christmas, Hanukkah was a what was it? What is it called? A hobo with a bag over his head. Like Hanukkah's not as great as Christmas, so we try our best.
We don't say hobo anymore.
No, hobo's actually homeward bound, and it's voluntary.
I'm kidding, obviously.
I know.
But seriously, so when does Hanukkah start?
It actually it goes by the moon. So this year it starts the day of Christmas.
Okay, and then you go for 8
8
crazy
days,
nights.
8 crazy nights. But it's a minor holiday, so you get the idea is that a little bit of oil lasted 8 days.
Do you find it weird that all my Jewish knowledge comes from Larry David and Adam Sandler?
And Seinfeld.
And
Oh,
Seinfeld.
then Seinfeld.
He doesn't really push it there.
No, not
Larry
as much.
pushes it a lot more.
Larry
so I
definitely
know
does.
a lot about the.
My husband also knows
Remember
only
when he has the pedophile over for Passover? We shouldn't be laughing about that, man. I mean, it's good that we just talked about humor in
Yes.
Gallows
it's
humor.
wrapping it
That's
wrapping
right.
it all up, but
That's
it's
right.
because he teaches them golf.
Yes.
And Larry's so enthralled with his golf tips, and he's like, "You want to come over for Passover?" And he's like a really nice guy, but he's a known pedophile. So he's like, "What do you do?"
And on that
Let
note,
everyone
I
know.
know.
You got
I
to
It was
know.
a-
I'm going to
funny
wrap it there. Jeff, do we have a commitment that you are going to practice Kwanzaa with your family the first time this year?
Yeah, man, I'm down for community and unity.
I'm
and
down
one
with
more
it,
thing
too.
that rhymes in there.
All right, so maybe a little Kwanzaa Hanukkah.
For sure.
All right.
Kwanzaa.
So on behalf of Daytime Talk After Dark, Jeff Schroeder, Tori Shulman, Al Jackson, I just want to say we appreciate you guys, our night owls. You guys show us so much love. We appreciate you guys interacting with our content. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on Friday.